Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're a true ARMY, or even just a curious K-pop fan passing through, you absolutely need to watch this video all the way to the end. Because today, we're going to talk about something that has been a massive question mark for a very long time. Something that has had thousands of people arguing on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and even in your group chats. The question is simple, but the answer is shocking. Has Park Jimin, one of the most iconic members of BTS, ever had plastic surgery? And what makes this even more mind-blowing is that the answer doesn't come from cheap gossip or some anonymous account on social media. This answer comes directly from plastic surgeons, real, experienced, board-certified doctors, who seriously analyzed Jimin's face in a medical and professional setting. The result? It left ARMY around the world speechless, in disbelief, and ultimately moved to tears. Let's break it all down. Before we dive into the shocking statements from the plastic surgeons, we need to understand why Jimin has always been such a hot topic when it comes to his physical appearance. Park Jimin was born on October 13, 1995, in Busan, South Korea. He joined BTS and debuted with the group in 2013, when he was just 19 years old. From the very first day of his debut, Jimin already turned heads with his extraordinary visuals, a small, delicate face, big expressive eyes, and an aura that's genuinely difficult to describe with ordinary words. But as time went on, Jimin's appearance changed. And it was that change that sparked a long and heated debate. Netizens started comparing Jimin's debut photos with his more recent ones. Some people immediately shouted, "He must have had plastic surgery." Meanwhile, ARMY fiercely defended their idol and insisted, "That's just natural aging and changes in the body." So who's right? This is exactly where we hand the question over to the experts. Plastic surgeons who understand the anatomy of the human face far better than anyone else. One of the most viral moments in the entire history of the debate about Jimin's visuals happened when a team of South Korean plastic surgeons, operating on a YouTube channel called Doctrio, decided to professionally analyze the faces of every BTS member. And when Jimin's turn came, it was the doctors' own reactions that went viral. Here's what happened. The doctors began studying Jimin's debut photos. They noted that when he first debuted at age 19, Jimin's face looked far more round and chubby, what Koreans call baby fat. He had a cute, adorable image, almost like a lovable little brother. But when they compared those photos to more recent ones of Jimin, the doctors immediately exchanged glances. Jimin's face now looked dramatically sharper, more masculine, and more defined. His jawline was more chiseled. His side profile was more striking. And most confusing to the average netizen, his nose looked more pointed and refined. So what did the doctors conclude? Dr. Deok Jun, one of the doctors on the Doctrio team, offered a fascinating explanation. According to him, the changes in Jimin's face are very likely not the result of plastic surgery at all, but rather two natural factors that most people completely overlook. The first is the loss of baby fat with age. This is a completely normal biological process. As someone transitions from being a teenager to a grown man, the fat in the face naturally diminishes. The effect? The face becomes slimmer, the jawline becomes more visible, and the overall contour of the face becomes sharper. No surgical knife required, just time and biology. The second is how intense physical training changes hormones. This is the part that surprises most people. The Doctrio doctors agreed that strength-oriented exercise, the kind that Jimin does constantly as a professional dancer and K-pop idol, can significantly increase testosterone levels in men. And that hormone, as science has clinically proven, can reshape the face to appear more masculine, with a stronger jaw and more defined facial muscles. So the transformation of Jimin's face from cute and chubby to sharp and masculine? The Korean doctors concluded, that is the work of nature, not a surgeon's blade. And there's one more thing that made this moment truly unforgettable. One of the doctors in the session blurted out something with complete honesty, something both hilarious and deeply touching at the same time. He said, "I can't breathe if someone with a face like that looks at me." Yes, a plastic surgeon, someone who literally works every day surrounded by the highest standards of beauty, was left breathless by Jimin's face. And the team of doctors even went so far as to invent a brand new word to describe Jimin, because no existing word felt adequate enough. That word was a fusion of beautiful and handsome at the same time. because Jimin's face was seen as transcending conventional gender categories and beauty standards. They called it beautiful handsome, or in a term they coined themselves, something that simply makes you happy. But the analysis didn't stop in Korea. In the United States, a well-known plastic surgeon named Dr. Anthony Young, who has more than 3.9 million followers on TikTok as an infologist and beauty expert, did something that sent shockwaves through the global K-pop fan community. Dr. Anthony Young posted a video on his TikTok account, and he placed Jimin BTS on his exclusive list, a list of celebrities from around the world who look absolutely stunning physically, but have not had any plastic surgery whatsoever. In his video, Dr. Young showed a photo of Jimin alongside several Western celebrities like Addison Rae and Madison Beer, and he wrote a caption that immediately went viral. You might think this is a celebrity who looks cool because of plastic surgery, but no. That statement exploded across the internet. ARMY immediately shared the video everywhere. Hashtags related to Jimin and plastic surgery started trending on every platform. And many fans felt like this was a massive win, because this time, the one speaking wasn't a fan, wasn't entertainment media, but a professional plastic surgeon with millions of followers who specifically chose Jimin as a real-world example of extraordinary natural beauty. Still not convinced? Don't worry, because there's one more. A plastic surgeon named Dr. Charles S. Lee went even further. He didn't just mention Jimin's name in passing. He conducted a detailed, feature-by-feature analysis of Jimin's face, comparing high school photos from before his debut with his most recent ones. And the results were incredibly detailed, deeply scientific, and genuinely surprising. On the topic of Jimin's eyes, in South Korea, one of the most common plastic surgery procedures is double eyelid surgery. It's an extremely popular procedure because many Koreans naturally have eyes without a double fold, known as monolids. Dr. Charles Lee analyzed Jimin's eyes from old photos to new ones, and found absolutely no signs of double eyelid surgery. On the topic of Jimin's nose, this is the part netizens argue about the most. Many claim that Jimin's nose looked different, more pointed, more refined. But Dr. Charles Lee gave his professional opinion clearly and directly. He said, "In my opinion, and I think for most people who are assessing this, if I had to give an opinion, Jimin's nose is most likely natural, not operated on." A statement that was immediately shared thousands of times by ARMY around the world. On the topic of Jimin's lips, even his lips were carefully examined. And the conclusion was consistent. Jimin's famously full lips looked exactly the same as before, with no signs of fillers or any procedure whatsoever. Dr. Charles Lee's final conclusion was direct and clear. What about his lips? His lips are known for being full. Looking at old photos, they were full, and you can see now there's no change. I think Jimin has a natural face. 3 features, 3 analyses, 1 consistent conclusion: Jimin is natural. Now, we have to be honest and fair here, because in a world full of opinions, not every doctor speaks with the same tone. A plastic surgeon from Beverly Hills, California, who chose to remain anonymous in an interview with Digital Music News, had a slightly different take. He wasn't specifically singling out Jimin, but when analyzing BTS members broadly, he said, "From my professional perspective, the changes aren't massive, but there has been something done to their faces." That statement naturally triggered a fresh wave of debate. Netizens were divided. Some believed it, others dismissed it as pure speculation. What's important to note here is that to this day, there has been no official statement from HYB, BTS's label, nor any direct comment from Jimin himself confirming or denying any plastic surgery. That means all the analyses circulating, whether they lean toward natural or some work was done, remain professional opinions, not verified facts. But what stands out is this. The vast majority of plastic surgeons who have openly and professionally analyzed Jimin's face have consistently leaned toward the same conclusion. Jimin's face is extraordinary and natural. Now imagine for a second that you're a member of ARMY who has been defending your idol from plastic surgery accusations for years. You've been exhausted from arguing, tired of explaining, and frustrated watching haters constantly attack without evidence. And then suddenly, the plastic surgeons themselves, the very people whose profession revolves around the highest standards of physical beauty, become the loudest voices proving that your idol is genuinely, naturally, breathtakingly beautiful. The reaction from ARMY was exactly what you'd expect, an absolute explosion. On Twitter, now X, hashtags like #JiminNatural and #JiminBeautiful started trending almost immediately. On TikTok, Dr. Anthony Young's video singling out Jimin as an example of natural beauty racked up millions of views in a very short time. On Weverse, fans shared screenshots of the doctor's analysis with comments overflowing with pride. One of the most liked comments read simply, "Jimin was beautiful before anyone even knew his name, and the doctors have finally proven it." ARMY around the world felt the same way, a mix of relief, pride, and just a little bit of "I told you so" directed at every hater who had spent years insisting the face was fake. Okay, now let's get into the part that's perhaps the most fascinating, especially if you love learning new things. Why does someone's face change so drastically from their teenage years to adulthood without any plastic surgery at all? The plastic surgeons who analyzed Jimin offered several very compelling scientific explanations. The first is the phenomenon of baby fat and changes in fat distribution. Every human has a layer of fat in the face, known as buccal fat. During the teenage years, this layer tends to be thicker, giving the face a rounder and cuter appearance. As a person moves into their mid-20s, this fat naturally shrinks and redistributes. The result? The face becomes slimmer, the cheekbones become more prominent, and the jaw becomes sharper. No surgery needed, just normal human biology doing its work. The second explanation is the influence of testosterone from intense physical training. Jimin is a professional dancer with an extremely demanding training schedule. High-intensity physical exercise, particularly strength-based training, has been clinically shown to increase testosterone production in men. And testosterone has a direct effect on facial structure, making the jaw stronger, the bones denser, and the facial muscles more defined. This isn't a myth. It's a well-documented medical fact. The third factor is weight changes and changes in body composition. As a K-pop idol constantly in front of cameras, Jimin, like all K-pop idols, experienced fairly significant weight fluctuations throughout his career. Weight loss in particular has a very visible effect on the face. The cheeks hollow out, the jaw becomes more prominent, and the overall facial contour shifts noticeably. The fourth factor is makeup technique and contouring. This is one that people overlook far too often. BTS's professional makeup team uses incredibly sophisticated contouring techniques. Makeup artistry that can make a nose look sharper, a jawline look more defined, and the entire face look more sculpted and dramatic. Many of the changes in Jimin's face that netizens have argued about can be explained entirely by different makeup techniques applied on different days. And the fifth factor is professional lighting and photography. Jimin's debut photos and his recent photos were taken with different photography techniques, different lighting setups, and different camera angles. Lighting alone can change how someone's face looks in an almost unrecognizable way. Professional photographers know exactly how to make a person look more dramatic, sharper, or even significantly different from how they appear in everyday life. When all five of these factors are combined, it makes complete sense that Jimin at age 30 looks very different from Jimin at age 19, without a single medical procedure ever taking place. There's one thing that makes Jimin's case truly extraordinary and unlike most other celebrities in the world. The South Korean plastic surgeons from the Doctrio channel revealed something deeply fascinating. Jimin's face is actually a face that defies standard categories. Why? Because in medical aesthetics and facial beauty standards, there's almost always a trade-off. A face that looks feminine and beautiful tends to look less masculine, and a face that looks masculine and rugged tends to look less feminine. But Jimin's face? He manages to be both simultaneously. The doctors describe this with a very specific phrase. Jimin's face possesses a quality of beautiful and handsome at exactly the same time. And this isn't just about looks. This is about a harmony of facial features that is genuinely rare in a statistical sense. The features that make this possible include his large, elongated eyes without a double eyelid, a monolid that creates a mysterious, captivating aura instead of looking plain, his even, luminous skin that almost nobody possesses naturally without excessive treatment, his small, compact face that makes every single feature appear more proportional and dramatic, and the way his features blend standards of Eastern and Western beauty in a way that allows him to be perceived as stunning across entirely different cultures around the world. One of the doctors even chose Jimin as his personal favorite face among all BTS members, a statement that definitely sent ARMY into an absolute frenzy. And the most iconic comment of the entire analysis session? When one of the doctors described what it would actually feel like to be face-to-face with Jimin in real life. He said, "If you sit like that and stare at Jimin, you will immediately lose your breath." A plastic surgeon, someone whose entire career is built around seeing and evaluating human facial aesthetics at the highest level. And he said he would lose his breath looking at Jimin. How could ARMY not cry hearing that? But behind all the excitement and pride within the ARMY community, there's a bigger message here that deserves a moment of reflection. The plastic surgery conversation is about far more than gossip or entertainment. It touches on self-esteem, mental health, and beauty standards that are often unrealistic to the point of being damaging. South Korea is one of the countries with the highest per capita rate of plastic surgery in the world. A culture that places enormous value on physical appearance, especially within the K-pop entertainment industry, creates an immense amount of pressure on idols. Many of them have spoken openly about the psychological weight of being constantly scrutinized and compared to impossible standards. When plastic surgeons say that Jimin is an example of extraordinary natural beauty, this isn't just good news for ARMY. It's a reminder for all of us that beauty enforced through medical procedures is not the only path to an attractive appearance. That the changes that happen naturally to the human body, aging, hormonal shifts, changes in body composition, are beautiful processes worthy of appreciation, not fear. And that accusing someone of plastic surgery without evidence isn't just unfair. It can be genuinely hurtful and deeply humiliating to someone who may have worked extremely hard to take care of themselves in a completely natural way. So, after this long journey together, from the Doctrio YouTube channel in Korea, to Dr. Anthony Young's TikTok in America, to Dr. Charles Lee's detailed feature-by-feature breakdown, what's our conclusion? The overwhelming majority of plastic surgeons who have professionally analyzed Jimin BTS's face have arrived at one consistent answer. Park Jimin has a natural face. A face gifted by nature, shaped by time, hormones, and hard work, not by a surgeon's knife. The changes in his appearance since debut are a completely normal biological process. From a 19-year-old teenager with chubby, baby fat-filled cheeks, to a 30-year-old man with a sharp, masculine, and captivating face. And beyond that, even the plastic surgeons, people who spend their entire professional lives surrounded by the highest standards of beauty, could not contain their admiration for Jimin, to the point of losing their breath, to the point of inventing new words to describe him, to the point of naming him their personal favorite face. To every ARMY who has never stopped defending Jimin, you weren't wrong. You believed in something real. And to everyone who has still been curious or questioning, I hope this video has given you a broader, more balanced perspective. Alright guys, that's everything we've covered today about the shocking statements plastic surgeons have made about Jimin BTS. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss content like this. Drop a comment down below. Are you Team Jimin Natural, or do you still have doubts? And share this with your fellow ARMY and K-pop fans. And one final question for the comments section. If you could actually meet Jimin face to face, are you really confident you wouldn't lose your breath, just like that doctor did? Grinning face with smiling eyes. See you in the next video. Saranghyo, ARMY.